Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to explore something pretty profound, a fresh perspective on life's purpose.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at excerpts from texts about the Baha'i faith. What I find really interesting is how this perspective might challenge some of those conventional ideas we have about, like, happiness and success, the usual thing.
I see.
Ready to uncover some surprising insights.
Always up for that. I think you'll find this interesting, actually. A lot of us chase those external markers of success, like, we're always striving for something more. But the Baha'i teaching suggests that maybe, just maybe, we're looking in the wrong place for true fulfillment.
So it's not about the corner office or the fancy car.
Not necessarily. The Baha'i teachings place a big emphasis on our dual nature. We're not just physical beings,
Right.
but also spiritual beings.
Okay.
Think of it like a tree. Okay, so the roots are our spiritual essence, and then the branches and the leaves, that represents our physical existence.
I like that. That's a good analogy.
Both are essential, obviously, but the roots are what nourish and sustain that whole tree.
So if we're neglecting those roots, that spiritual side, are we just setting ourselves up to feel empty, even if we do achieve all those success goals?
Yeah, exactly. The Baha'i writings suggest that the soul, that unseen part of us, it yearns for a deeper meaning, a connection to something bigger. If we're constantly chasing, fleeting pleasures, we might be missing out on true, lasting happiness.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So it's like indulging in that extra slice of cake every day. Sure, it's enjoyable in the moment.
Right.
It doesn't really lead to long-term satisfaction, though, does it?
Yeah, precisely. And it's not about denying yourself pleasure or anything like that. It's about recognizing that true freedom, it actually comes from aligning yourself with your spiritual purpose, not just giving into every little desire that pops up.
Okay. This is where it starts to get really, really interesting. The source material talks about this life being like a classroom. What's that all about?
Yeah. So imagine this earthly life as a school. It's a training ground, where we're developing our character, our spiritual qualities.
Okay.
It's not about acing those tests or getting gold stars.
Right.
It's about learning to be kind, patient, compassionate, essentially refining our inner selves.
So those tough experiences, those setbacks, even heartbreaks, they're not just random events. They're actually opportunities for growth.
Exactly. Each challenge becomes a chance to learn a valuable lesson, to strengthen our resilience and develop the qualities we need for the next stage of this journey.
It's almost like we're being sculpted, like chiseled into the best possible version of ourselves. So what happens after graduation, after we leave this earthly classroom?
Well, the Baha'i teachings suggest that this earthly life, it isn't the end. It's more of a preparation for a greater existence.
Okay. So then this raises a big question. What does happiness even mean in this context?
Right.
Because if it's not about achieving material milestones, then what are we striving for?
The Baha'i faith defines happiness as a state of spiritual fulfillment.
Okay.
It's about connecting with a higher purpose, serving others, nurturing the soul.
Wow, this is such a profound shift in perspective. It's not about accumulating things or chasing those fleeting highs, but about cultivating inner peace, purpose, and connection. It makes me wonder, what brings you that deep sense of contentment, dear listener? What truly nourishes your soul? Let's explore that more as we continue our deep dive.
And while we're on that topic of connection, it's interesting to consider how many people feel lonely these days.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we're constantly connected digitally,
Right.
there's this pervasive sense of loneliness in modern society. So many people feel isolated, alone.
It's like we're surrounded by people, but still feeling a deep sense of emptiness.
Exactly.
Is that because we've become so focused on individual pursuits?
Yeah.
Me, myself, and I? Have we just lost sight of our interconnectedness?
The source material suggests that might be a contributing factor. According to the Baha'i teachings, true connection comes from recognizing our shared humanity, from understanding that we're all part of one interconnected family.
So it's about shifting our focus from me to we.
Exactly.
From individual gain to collective well-being.
Yeah, it's about understanding that our actions impact others and that we have a responsibility to contribute to the betterment of the world around us.
Right.
And that's really where understanding our spiritual purpose can have a profound impact on how we interact with the world.
It's not just about finding individual happiness then,
No.
but about contributing to a more just, loving world.
Exactly. The Baha'i teachings suggest that when we align our lives with our spiritual purpose, it transforms everything. our relationships, our approach to work, our use of resources, even how we face challenges. We'll explore that deeper in the next part of our dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive. Last time, we were talking about how life is kind of like a classroom, right? Preparing us for something even greater.
It is a pretty mind-blowing concept when you really think about it. Yeah, it gets you thinking. Okay, so we're learning, we're growing here in this classroom, but like learning for what? What happens to all that knowledge and growth?
Exactly.
Well, that's where the Baha'i teachings about the afterlife get really interesting. They have a unique perspective. They suggest that the qualities we develop here, they actually shape our experience in the next world.
Hold on. So you're saying that if I really work on being more patient, more kind now, it'll actually benefit me in the afterlife.
That's the idea. It's not about earning points or anything. It's about those qualities becoming like part of our spiritual being, part of our soul, you know? Imagine weaving a tapestry. Every act of kindness, every moment of courage adds a beautiful thread.
So it's not about being a good person just to get into some cosmic reward system or something. It's about those qualities literally becoming part of who we are even after we're gone from this physical body.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. The Baha'i writings describe the next world as this realm of pure spirit. So our spiritual qualities, they determine our state of being there.
Okay, I see. So that makes the whole idea of heaven and hell a lot more nuanced than the traditional fire and brimstone thing. Right?
Exactly. It's not about physical punishment or reward. It's about the state of our soul.
Wow. And that really changes how we think about the challenges we face here.
For sure. It's not just about gritting our teeth and getting through. It's about using those experiences to develop qualities like resilience, compassion, even forgiveness.
So even those really tough times, like moments of heartbreak and loss, they can help us grow spiritually.
Exactly. It's almost like those challenges are refining our soul, like polishing it like a precious gem. The more we refine it here, the more radiant it will be in the next life.
This is all pretty amazing, but I got to be honest, the thought of death still makes me a little uneasy. It's a big unknown,
Oh, absolutely. I totally get that. It's normal to feel that way. But the Baha'i perspective on death is quite different from, the fear and finality that so many cultures focus on. Well, instead of seeing death as the end, the Baha'i teachings see it more like a transition. It's like graduating from this earthly life, moving on to a higher realm of existence, stepping through a doorway into a new adventure.
So it's not the final curtain, but the beginning of a new act. That's a much more beautiful way to think about it, for sure.
It is, isn't it? And this concept of a continued journey beyond this physical world, it gives another layer to the Baha'i emphasis on building a better world.
You're right. It's not just about our own individual progress. It's about contributing to the well-being of everyone, both now and in the future.
Exactly. The Baha'i faith views the world as one interconnected family. It stresses the oneness of humanity, the importance of working together to create a more just, peaceful, and sustainable future for everybody.
So we're taking our spiritual growth, the qualities we're developing in this classroom, and using them to make a positive impact.
Yeah. That's a key part of it. The Baha'i writings call for a transformation, a change in individual hearts. They want to create a global civilization based on unity, justice, cooperation. A world where everyone can thrive.
So this isn't just about meditating on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
It's about rolling up our sleeves, getting involved to create real change in the world.
It's both, actually. That inner transformation and the outward action, they go hand in hand. And it makes sense to me. I think a lot of people are searching for a way to make a difference, to contribute to something larger than themselves.
That resonates with me too.
Yeah, it taps into that innate capacity we all have for love, compassion, unity. It inspires us to create a world that reflects the beauty and nobility of, our spiritual nature. And in the next segment, we're going to explore how that connection to our spiritual nature can be strengthened even more through the Baha'i perspective on God's role in all of this.
All right, welcome back to our final segment.
Yeah.
We've really been doing a deep dive into the Baha'i perspective on life's purpose, exploring all sorts of things like the nature of our soul, the idea of life as a classroom, and even the afterlife.
Yeah.
But there's one piece of the puzzle we haven't really talked about yet, and I'm really curious to get your take on this. What about the role of God in all of this?
Oh yeah, that's a crucial part for sure. You see, the Baha'i faith teaches that God is the source of everything. All of creation, the ultimate reality that connects everyone and everything.
So it's not just about us figuring out our purpose all on our own then. There's a divine element involved.
Exactly. The Baha'i writings describe God as a loving and all-knowing being who wants us to be happy and guides us on our spiritual journey.
Okay, but how do we connect with this divine source? Like, how can we even know what God wants from us?
Well, the Baha'i faith really emphasizes prayer and meditation as essential tools for spiritual growth and connecting with God.
You know, I've tried meditation before, but I gotta be honest, my mind just races with like to-do lists and worries.
Yeah.
So what's the Baha'i approach to meditation?
It's not really about completely emptying your mind. It's more about creating that space of stillness and receptivity.
Okay.
Like, think of it like tuning a radio to a specific frequency. You're trying to quiet the static of daily life to better hear those subtle whispers of your soul and the guidance of a higher power.
Oh, okay. So it's more about listening than talking.
You got it. And prayer, from a Baha'i perspective, is about communication with God.
Okay.
Like a spiritual conversation.
Yeah.
A chance to express gratitude, seek guidance, and strengthen that connection.
You know, it kind of reminds me of that quote from the Bible, "Be still and know that I am God."
Mm-hmm.
It's all about quieting the noise of the world and tuning into that inner voice, that divine spark.
Absolutely, cultivating that inner awareness, that sense of connection to something larger than ourselves. And the Baha'i teachings stress that this connection, it's available to everyone. It doesn't matter what your background is or what you believe.
That's really reassuring.
Yeah.
It means that no matter where we are on our own personal spiritual journey, we can always turn to God for that guidance and support.
Exactly. The Baha'i writings tell us that God's love is unconditional and all-encompassing. It empowers us to grow, learn, forgive, and live a meaningful life full of purpose.
This deep dive has been so insightful. We've covered so much, from the nature of our soul to building a better world. And now with this understanding of our connection to a loving God, it just adds another layer of depth.
It really ties everything together, It gives us that framework for understanding our place in the universe, our purpose, and the incredible potential we have to create a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, we encourage you, dear listener, to really sit with these ideas. If you're looking for that deeper understanding of life's purpose, maybe a sense of connection to something greater, and a path to true happiness, the Baha'i teachings might offer some valuable insights. Explore them with an open mind and heart and see where this journey of discovery takes you.